If Granny, the prototype, and Evil Nun were all in the same building right now, which one would be the last thing standing? Which one would actually survive? Because these three are not on the same level. One of them is operating on a completely different plane of existence than the other two. One of them was never just a monster. One of them was always the plan. And by the end of this video, you are going to realize that one of these villains was never even in the same conversation as the others. Let us tear this apart. 3 games, 3 monsters, 3 completely different flavors of nightmare. Granny traps you inside a crumbling house and gives you 5 days to escape before she ends you. She does not need to see you. She only needs to hear you. The prototype has spent decades operating in the shadows of a toy factory, turning children into monsters, commanding an army of failed experiments, and surviving everything that was thrown at him. He is not just a creature. He is the reason every other monster in Poppy Playtime exists. And Evil Nun, Sister Madeline, does not just want to stop you from escaping. She wants your soul, armed with an axe, surrounded by crows, and moving with a terrifying calm that suggests she already knows exactly where you are going to run. Each one is terrifying, but terrifying in a completely different way. So let us go one by one. Granny. Do not let the frail appearance fool you for a single second. Granny's most dangerous ability is her hearing. Drop a single object anywhere in that house and she will come running. She crosses rooms faster than most players expect the first time they encounter her. She has laid traps throughout the house. She knows the layout. She has a pet spider that can down you before she even arrives, and she has a shotgun. A grandmother with a shotgun and superhuman hearing is already a terrifying combination. But what makes Granny uniquely dangerous is her patience. She does not panic. She does not give up. She simply waits for you to make a sound. Her weakness is her vision. She relies almost entirely on audio cues, which means silence is your only real weapon against her. Fear factor, extremely high, because Granny represents something primal. The trap, the inescapable space, the feeling that no matter which room you run to, she already knows. The prototype. Pay attention, because this is where the entire video changes. Everything you just heard about Granny, set it aside, because we are no longer talking about a monster that hunts you inside a building. We are talking about something that turned an entire corporation into a weapon. Something that looked at a factory full of scientifically engineered killing machines and said, "These work for me now." Experiment 1006 was not created in a lab accident. He was a child. An orphan named Oliver, deliberately selected as the very first human experiment by the founder of Playtime Company. He was not transformed by mistake. He was transformed on purpose, as proof, as a test. And when the test worked, everything that followed was built on top of what was done to him. Now think about what he became. Physically, he is enormous. The spider-like mechanical body covered in the remains of enemies he personally destroyed. Huggy Wuggy's arm, Mommy Long Leg's arm. Catnap skin stretched across his frame like a display case. He did not just defeat these creatures, he wore them. He wanted you to see what happened to them. That is not survival instinct, that is a message. But here is where the fear escalation really begins. The prototype did not become powerful in Chapter 5. He was already the most powerful thing in that factory decades before you arrived. While you were running from Huggy Wuggy in Chapter 1, the prototype had already turned a lonely, vulnerable 7-year-old child named Theodore into a devoted servant. Theodore became Catnap. And Catnap spent years spreading the red smoke and conditioning other experiments to worship the prototype like a god. The prototype spent years making sure that when the moment came, his army would be ready and the humans would not. He never even had to be in the room, and his durability. The poppy gel shown in the game is capable of regenerating biological material, and the prototype has been connected to that substance throughout the lore. Whether he can fully rebuild from catastrophic damage is still not confirmed, but look at his track record. Everything the factory threw at him either failed, died, or joined him. His one visible vulnerability is something almost no one talks about. When Theodore was critically injured during an escape attempt, the prototype gave up his own freedom to carry the child to safety. He sacrificed his chance at escape just to save one boy. That is not a machine, that is something that still feels. And something that still feels can still be reached. Evil nun, Sister Madeline, is cold, calculated, and absolutely relentless. Armed with an axe and guided by what she believes is a divine mission, the evil nun is not simply hunting you. She is fulfilling what she sees as a sacred purpose. That belief makes her more dangerous than someone acting on instinct alone, because she will not hesitate, she will not negotiate, and she will not feel guilt. Her speed and awareness are her defining traits in gameplay. Her crows act as extended surveillance, giving her information the player cannot account for. She is never fully blind to what you are doing. Her fear factor comes from her calm. There is something uniquely unsettling about a villain who is not screaming or raging. Sister Madeline simply walks toward you with the quiet certainty of someone who has already decided how this ends. Her weakness is that she is still bound by physical space in a way the prototype simply is not. Final verdict. The most powerful evil across all three is the prototype. That is my verdict, but I already know half of you disagree. Who is the most powerful evil? You tell me.